Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, glad to have you here. Oh look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee?
I don't drink coffee.
You sure? It's cultist coffee.
What makes it cultist coffee?
I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it.
Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh, yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning. Here I am again. You know, I am having a great day today. I am feeling better than I have in quite some time. Been up this morning, was getting work done. Actually, oddly, my internet was down when I woke up this morning. I was trying to do some other work because I was going to work on some of the film stuff, but of course I needed an internet connection for that. But I still wrote for about an hour. Then finally it came back on. And so I was all ready. I showered. I'm ready this morning. I was ready to start the stream at 9:30. I got it all started, got the intro playing, and then actually started the show. And so we're sitting here talking to you. And then I realized that I wasn't actually live. I hadn't hit the live button. I always check. I always send my eyes up to a certain corner of the screen because I have done an entire show and not been live. That was when I first started streaming. So I'm always very conscious of what it looks like, but I didn't check immediately. I checked as soon as I really started talking. So I'm glad I did. So here I am. Here we go. All right. See, good morning, Zero the Blade. Good morning. Good morning, James. Good to see everybody. Tomocrat's looking for some tea this morning. I've got cultist coffee right here. Actually, Witch's Brew this morning. Felt like a witch's brew kind of morning. Good morning, Jason. Chocolate and milk. All right. So Tomocrat was asking, are we seeing if AI can write a film script or trying to make a full film concept? we are trying to see if we can actually get some kind of usable animated video footage through AI, and what its status is. We looked at the script writing yesterday. So if you want to look at script writing, we did take a look yesterday on how good, or rather how bad, ChatGPT was at writing a film script, because I wanted to know. That was something I did a few months ago. Was like, I really wanted to dive into, well, hey, is AI, can we give a large language model, more specifically, can we give a large language model some information and have it write a film script? Do I need to be sitting here pounding at a keyboard, or is that something that AI can be doing for me? Well, we found out really not. Now, plot.ai is what we looked at. We looked at both yesterday, just ChatGPT to start off with, and then plot.ai, which is supposed to be a more dedicated AI, or is a more dedicated AI specifically for filmmaking. And you can see what it did. Long story short, I think we still need to be at our keyboards. Those of us who are writing stories. Good morning, BGD, Just T, Earl Grey. So, all right. Good morning, PH. PH says, hey, Heath, were you able to check out those videos? What if episode 7 was awesome? Anxious to know what you think. I did watch one of them. The episode, yeah, I guess that was 7. I didn't get to watch all of them, but I did. I did watch the first one, and I thought it was good. I liked it. I thought if we had something like that, that would definitely be better. So I thought they did a good job with that. So yeah, if you haven't, that was done by, it's on a YouTube channel called Prism. PH, let us know about that. And I definitely check that out. Yeah, if you look up Prism, what if episode 7 was awesome, or what if the Phantom Menace was awesome, you'll find it. Really good. James says, wrote and read last night, still building out the outline for NaNoWriMo, and finished a couple of chapters in Faraway Bird. Okay, yeah, I didn't get to read that this morning. I got up a little later than I wanted to, but I'm still attacking the day. I feel like I've got some energy here finally. But I didn't get to read Faraway Bird. I'm just one chapter into Faraway Bird. Okay, this is great. So Discord member Michelle built out a Ravenkeep group on the NaNoWriMo website. If you're participating and you're looking for friendly accountability, put your NaNoWriMo screen name in. The product, okay. Awesome. Now, I've got to get to Discord. I've got a meeting because I'm feeling good. Discord was overwhelming me. I don't know why for the past few weeks. So I've got to get back in there. That was just, I have not been doing terribly well over the past 2 weeks, but I feel like over the past 72 hours, I've been getting a whole lot of energy back. So the Discord server is going to be great. Thank you, Michelle. That's fantastic. Let's put together the NaNoWriMo website. I've got a NaNoWriMo account. I need to connect mine. Let me make a personal note on that. The Discord server link is in the description now. I put the Discord link in the description. If you're here, I do post when the shows are going on, and I want to adjust a lot of the stuff going on in the Discord to make it more usable to us. As we've been evolving here. But also, I saw somebody just sent a comment on YouTube saying that the videos had not been showing up on his feed lately, and was wondering if I was still around. And I am still around. So one of the best places, I guess, to be is Ravenkeep Discord. That's where we're talking about. I mean, that's where I do post, the morning and things like that. So if YouTube isn't showing it to you, then the Discord server is the place to be. Let's see. The product. Okay, so go to the productivity channel in Discord. Michelle or I will add you. Okay, excellent. So on the productivity channel, I thought the productivity channel would be a good place to do that because we talked about just having a NaNoWriMo place. But I think a lot of people are doing NaNoWriMo around here. So I think either on Discord or some other streams here, I don't know, Discord may be a good place to do that, to hold ourselves accountable, to have regular meetings. But see, other people, if it's on Discord, people can organize different times because we're in different time zones for like writing sprints or things like that. But on the other hand, I want to also keep myself accountable. I was trying to make a note to myself here about get my NaNoWriMo stuff set up and added to the Ravenkeep NaNoWriMo group. Okay, perfect. but I want to hold myself accountable for what's going on over the next days anyway. Next month anyway. And I've still got to work on my outline too. I downloaded Final Draft using its just on its free free trial right now. Final Draft is kind of the industry standard screenwriting software. I have not used it yet. Because one of the reasons that I didn't have it was because when I'm just writing, I don't want to be totally concerned about formatting. And some of those script writing software, like even Scrivener, which I love Scrivener, and Scrivener has screenwriting ability, but because it's so focused on format, like if you've got some kind of thought that you're going on, what somebody should be saying and some kind of description, I just want my fingers to fly and not have to deal with the formatting at that exact second, because I hate it when I've got an idea. I'm like, oh, okay, I need my fingers to fly. And the screenwriting software is like, now, wait a minute, is this a scene heading? No, wait a minute, is this an action? Oh, you're typing as a character, the character name. Like, well, just let me type, and then come back and put the formatting in, because the formatting is also important. So I can write like that in a word processor, but the formatting is also important because you also need to keep track of your pages and things like that. So I don't know exactly what the best solution is, but I did download Final Draft last night and was working with it. And I was working with it this morning as I was writing. And it is nice. Good morning, Dungeon Master. Good morning. Good morning. James says, can you assign a Discord admin role? Maybe you could employ Stray or someone to administer the platform. Well, there are moderators on the platform. Okay, so when I get into Discord, I need to look at that. See about admins on the Discord, because I know we have moderators, but maybe there are some other roles that we could put things in. And I think that we're even boosted there. And I didn't understand what that was. Is Stray here? I need to message Stray. So Stray's like leveled up the server or something, and I don't really even understand what that is. So I've got to check into that too. I'm going to just dig completely into Discord, respond to people, messages, get things set up. That's got to be done. And see what that's about. So yes, BGD says I hear a lot of I hear a lot of AIs are doing NaNoWriMo this year. Yes, I bet a lot of AIs who complete NaNoWriMo very quickly. James says I've never really liked Final Draft. Final Cut is awesome. Final Draft is okay. Final Cut, that's the editing software. Scrivener is much better. Scrivener is fantastic for Scrivener would be fantastic for it. I love writing any type of long form material in it. It would be fantastic for screenwriting, except for it doesn't tell you the page counts. Like, I don't know what page I'm on. So I was always having to. So first of all, it locks you into the structure. So when your fingers need to fly, you got to figure out what type of structure you're on. And then when I was ready to get it all structured, well, one of the reasons I need to get it all structured is I need to see how many pages it is. And it doesn't tell you. I don't know. Yep, Final Cut is too smart. It anticipates too much and ends up being kludgety. So I think what was happening is I was trying to take some of the Christmas Story and putting it in Final Draft in script form. I was like, all right, since my story is already basically done over here, which I was trying to work on the Kickstarter for that yesterday. But yesterday, like all afternoon, all I did was work on the notes for that story that Doug had sent me. So I was rewriting that story with Doug's notes, and I got all that finished, but that's all I got done to yesterday. But since I had done that, then I thought, now what if I move over into a more structured environment and start inserting things in a structured way? So far, that's been working. So that might be a good workflow. We will see. Boosting is essentially a monthly subscription you pay on behalf of the channel. It's more individual subs you have. The more individual subs you have, the more functionality it unlocks. Oh, okay. Well, I need to thank Stray for that. I need to contact him. If AI are doing NaNoWriMo, then maybe it will go up a gen and not spiral downward as much as it does right now. So we'll see. Yeah, I saw that like we're level 2, so it allowed some type of other streaming or something like that. So that's awesome. So all right, I got to figure that out, and we'll get into that. All right. So what I was trying to do though. So our topic for today is the graphic side of AI filmmaking, because I've been trying to get into that. I've been following rather closely over the past several months, trying to figure out what it can do and when it's time to really jump into that. I mean, if it's something to be jumped into. And I think it's close. I've got a project that needs to be done, and I'm going to try to do it this way. So I was trying to establish a workflow. Didn't get quite as far this morning because the internet was down, but got things to talk about and I got things to show. Let's first, though, do our breathe and sip, and then do our reading from okay, here we go. From The War of Art, which is very relevant to upcoming NaNoWriMo, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. So got your drink, got my coffee this morning. So here we go. Let's take 2 deep breaths in. Here we go. Breathe and sip. 2 deep breaths. Deep inhales, complete exhales. Here we go. And sip. Multiverse DM says Patreon is subverting YouTube. They have a storefront without 10K subs. I've seen emails come by, because at one time I looked into setting up a Patreon. So I still get emails from them. And it seems like things are changing over there. And so maybe it's worth looking into the Patreon platform again. We will see. But it seems like there have been so many emails that come out about like the new way Patreon is changing. So we will see. All right. So the War of Art. A professional distances herself from her instrument. This is our daily reading for inspiration. Then we'll get to filmmaking. A professional distances herself from her instrument. The pro stands at one remove from her instrument, meaning her person, her body, her voice, her talent, the physical, mental, emotional, and psychological being she uses in her work. She does not identify with the instrument. She is simply what God gave. It is simply what God gave her, what she has to work with. She assesses it coolly, impersonally, objectively. The professional identifies with her consciousness and her will, not with the matter that her consciousness will manipulate to serve her art. Does Madonna walk around the house in cone bras and come fuck me bustiers? Bustiers? Bustiers. She's too busy planning D-Day. Madonna does not identify with Madonna. Madonna employs Madonna. I think it's important to realize about a lot of people online that oftentimes they're characters online. Okay, a professional does not take failure or success personally. Hey, we got 12 people watching right now. Please do hit the like button. If you're watching, please do hit the like, because I think the like is the main thing that pushes the channel or the stream out to other people. So if we are having a problem that some people are saying, well, that things aren't showing up in my feed, maybe if we hit the like button right here, then it'll go to other people who are subscribed and it's not seeing it. So it helps me, but it helps other people too if you hit the like, and maybe other people will be here. I don't know what that is. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, so many of us do. Okay, a professional does not take failure or success personally. When people say an artist has a thick skin, what they mean is not that the person is dense or dumb or numb, dense or numb, but that he has seated his professional consciousness in a place other than his personal ego. It takes tremendous strength of character to do this, because our deepest instincts run counter to it. Evolution has programmed us to feel rejection in our guts. This is how the tribe enforced obedience, by wielding the threat of expulsion. Fear of rejection is not just psychological, it's biological. It's in our cells. Resistance knows this and uses it against us. It uses fear of rejection to paralyze us and prevent us, if not from doing our work, then from exposing it to public evaluation. I had a dear friend who had labored for years on an excellent and deeply personal novel. It was done. He had it in the mailbox. but he couldn't make himself send it off. Fear of rejection unmanned him. The professional cannot take rejection personally because to do so reinforces resistance. Editors are not the enemy. Critics are not the enemy. Resistance is the enemy. The battle is inside our own heads. We cannot let external criticism, even if it's true, fortify our internal foe. That foe is strong enough already. A professional schools herself to stand apart from her performance, even as she gives herself to it heart and soul. The Bhagavad Gita tells us that we have a right not only to our only to our labor, not the fruits of our labor. All the warrior can give is his life. All the athlete can do is leave everything on the field. The professional loves her work. She is invested in it wholeheartedly, but she does not forget that the work is not her. Her artistic self contains many works and many performances. Already the next is percolating inside her. The next will be better, and the one after that better still. I am definitely feeling that now. Especially yesterday and this morning as I was trying to get to work, I realized, man, I have got all of these stories to tell. And man, I have been fighting, trying to learn and get one done. But I think that I think it's kind of rolling now, especially with the Christmas story. Now I got to turn back to that Rabavania script. But it's rolling now, and there's a lot to roll out. Brianna's been rolling on with all the things that she's been writing. The professional self-validates. She is tough-minded. In the face of indifference or adulation, she assesses her stuff coldly and objectively. Where it fell short, she'll improve. Where it triumphed, she'll make it better still. She'll work harder. She'll be back tomorrow. The professional gives an ear to criticism, seeking to learn and grow, but she never forgets that resistance is using criticism against her on a far more diabolical level. Resistance enlists criticism to reinforce the fifth column of fear already at work inside the artist's head, seeking to break her will and crack her dedication. The professional does not fall for this. Her resolution, before all others, remains, no matter what, I will never let resistance beat me. Remember, resistance is everything that keeps us from being everything we are supposed to be and everything that keeps us, especially in this context, from achieving all of our creative pursuits. I think this point about rejection is fantastic. I was on Reddit last night, and I was reading in the screenwriting subreddit, and he was talking about a guy. I love it when people do this. They're like, how many rejection letters can I get? When I was doing academic publishing, I was like, yeah, this is true. Then I'm just going to post my rejection letters up on the wall above my desk in the grad school office. That way everybody could see them and read them, and some of them were very harsh. But then that way everybody was like, well, I can't do any worse than Heath's doing. Because all of my rejection letters, and was I the first one? I think I was the first one to get a sole authored paper actually published because of that. But what he did he was talking about on the subreddit was he was saying, I have no industry connections. I'm just a guy, no long writing experience, but did my work, got my script done, and said, you know what, I'm going to try to get 100 rejections. And so sent it out to, he said actually it was 103 by the end of it, had it reviewed by 8. I don't know exactly what the steps are, but reviewed by 8, and then taken to some kind of pitch meeting by 3 of those 8, and then signed it on the Hallmark Channel. And he was saying that on that post, in about 8 hours, his movie was going to debut. So that's what it took. Took 103 proposals. So I guess 98 outright rejections, 8 moving on to some type of review level, 5 rejections after that, 3 proposals, 2 rejections after that, and 1 movie. So there we go. James says, I find this most notable in commercial illustrators. They get coached by clients on how not what I ask for on any given piece is. They are often micromanaged and their professional opinions discounted. But they plug on because their mentality is to deliver something the client loves, not something that fuels their ego. Great point. Great point. All right, let's go on. Let's go on. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, so I want to say the way that what I'm trying to do and the way I'm approaching this. And once again, I got a million things open. So let's go over here, because it's always helpful to start with a purpose. And I'd been following AI image generation and AI filmmaking Gee, has it been almost a year? I guess it's been almost a year when it really started looking at it and trying to see what was there. Now, some people will often go when they're talking about the image generation or the filmmaking. Well, it's not there yet. It's not there yet. Well, okay, here's the question. Where is there? Like, what does it actually take for us to get to a particular location? And well, like, what is the location we're trying to get to anyway? Because even months ago, people were still doing things with AI generated film. Like I was watching, like what was that? Was that Linkin Park? Was it Linkin Park that did an entire music video that was AI animated? And then I was watching other people who are really at the cutting edge of things, like having to write custom scripts and custom programs in order to manage different elements of the AI, but producing at the end a lot of stuff. I'm like, okay, so that's where this is going, or really neat looking stuff. Like, okay, that's where it's going. Now, right now, they are deep in the film industry profession, and they know what they're doing, and they've got a team of them, and they're able to use this, and they're able to produce it. So right now, they're on the cutting edge, but it's not like commercially packaged yet. It's not commercially packaged yet. So I was kind of waiting for that. So what I had been trying to do, this right here, I don't manage this channel anymore, but it's got a lot of my writing on it. This is the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows channel, because the idea was, so when David and I sat down to try to do a company originally with Infinite Black, now we did Elder Dice. We ended up doing a whole bunch of Elder Dice and never got to what our main, I conceived of as our main purpose, which was try to build worlds and then tell stories and present games and things like that in certain worlds. One of the worlds was Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, which is David's worlds, which is why I don't manage this channel anymore. So I was writing for it, but and you can hear my stories on this channel. But this was one of the ideas for building a world was that we could tell stories and put them as audiobooks up on YouTube. And I always thought that it would be great to do something like an animated audiobook. So so we were able to produce a fair number of videos within the world, but it took a long time. It was not particularly regular. I wanted to do a lot more with this. A lot of this, a lot of it was based on the lore behind different signs. You know, the sigil of the Dreamlands that we came up with, the yellow sign, and then I would write, like, this is about a 3-minute script about the yellow sign and its history in the context of the world. And then we would have a picture that goes with it. The Summoning by the Sea. This one, oh, that's David explaining the Summoning by the Sea. So we also have on this channel some explanations, like David talking about his creative process to do this. So what was the problem here? And what problem am I trying to solve with like some of these AI techniques and tools? Well, it's because this was not a sustainable project. Because I could write it out and then we could get this narrated, and it was it's narrated by Ian Gordon. So I would be able to write things. Ian Gordon, who's amazing from Horror Babble, would then come in and narrate it, and then we would just have one picture. So in this case, this is like a Photoshop kind of image of the symbol, the order of the orb and path. Other times, but the problem was getting the art. The problem was getting the art. Like, for instance, this story right here. Now we got the whole short stories on here too. And by the way, this right here, sculpting the smoke creature, that time lapse. I mean, this is pretty cool. If you come over here, I've never had somebody sculpt something from one of my stories before. And so Doug Stannett, I don't know if you know him, but Doug is a fantastic monster sculptor, and he came in and he sculpted a couple of pieces from the story that I wrote, and it's really neat. So the time lapses are on here. Man, this was great. I really enjoyed working on this, but the problem is, like, where is? Okay, The Chamber of the Yellow King. This is one of the short stories. This is YouTube, And so I always wanted it to be a bit more visual. I wanted to be able to animate some things. And I couldn't animate everything, but like this is a image of the Yellow King that David created, and it's done with charcoal. I think it's entirely a charcoal piece, but it took him like 6 months to create this piece. These charcoal pieces that he creates in original art are huge. They are very time consuming to make, and in the end, we couldn't. The production of the art slowed everything down. And so then I was trying to come in here and do some light animation. I didn't want to disrupt David's artwork, but doing some kind of light animation on the screen. He would digitally color it. The original piece was all black and white. He would digitally color it, and then I would come in and then I would try to do a little thing to, make there just be some kind of vision and movement on the screen, narrated by Ian Gordon. But I wanted more. But YouTube is a visual medium, and I wanted more out of that. But the most we could possibly do was doing one image, right? Good morning, Robert. Good morning, and good morning, Andrew. And animation is expensive, right? And so this was about the most that we could do, and we couldn't really put out all that many. Eventually, we did hire out, to create like these images right here. Somebody else did the Crown of the Night Mother because David didn't have time to do it. So we just weren't really able to dig into it the way that I would have liked to. And the holdup was all of the art. So the art was all of the holdup. Was the holdup. So ultimately that didn't go. So ultimately that had to stop. But I really would like to still be able to bring out worlds like that. So what was my next attempt? Well, so when I sort of broke off again and then was working on working myself, then I was like, okay, well, one of the things I want to talk about is Rabivania. And so this was still before all the AI tools. And so I did Goodnight Sword, which, oh, by the way, is on Indiegogo right now. Man, I should post that. Indiegogo. I think most people here got Goodnight Sword on Kickstarter, but if you did not, Goodnight Sword is on Indiegogo right now, which is my take on Goodnight Moon. Of course, if you've got children in your life who are about the right age for Goodnight Moon, and you'd rather them have a fantasy twist like this, Goodnight Moon is on Indiegogo right now. I just dropped the link in the comments, and it is in the description as well. But we came up with this, and this animation was largely thanks to Brianna. Adam Botsford is the one who did all the illustrations for this. And then we figured out, a workflow to make sure that we had all the layers separated and so forth. So it's not just for the print version, but could be lightly animated. And then Brianna really dove in here. Not only did she narrate it, but then she produced the animation here. And this was kind of what I was going for. We've got the book like here, but to me, this is an acceptable way for the YouTube videos about my world to be animated. Because I was thinking I can't go too deep. I mean, because talking about the expense and time of animation, but this was at least a reasonable thing for us to do. But again, even this, with all of everything that went into it, we only really got one out, and it was this one. So it still was not a practical way to do, hey, I want to do 100 videos that explain Rabivania, whether it's stories or whether it's history and lore, and I want to do that. This still was not a terribly practical way. I know Brianna is multi-talented. I love working with Brianna because she can do everything. She does everything. She can write, she can do animation, she can do the graphic design, she can do the voiceover work, she can direct a movie, she can edit a movie. Brianna is multi-talented. So that's where I got there and then kind of stuck. Now, if you remember, let me take that down. A few months ago, I did another experiment. Now, this is the first time when I was like, okay, now wait a minute. Is this AI stuff going to be able to help me out? So let's see. Uh, blacks. Okay. Okay. Right here. I'm going to bring it up over here to show to you. So this is the first thing that I was like, now wait a minute. So hang on. Present video file. So this was the first attempt. And I put that up on another world right here. So I just put up a new well, I can't even find my world right now. Not enough people watched it. But anyway, so this was the first. I was like, so I wanted multiple images, like on the Infinite Black ones, the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows ones that we did. We only had one image, and I wanted like the image to change every 10 seconds. Like even if it wasn't animated, a change of image would help and help it be more visual, and I think also be more so therefore be more attractive on YouTube, which is naturally a visual medium. So I was like, no, wait a minute. But as a result, I'm a person who needs a lot of images. I'm a person who needs a lot of images. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of math to go, okay, wait a minute. If we're going to do 8-minute videos, so those are 60 seconds. So that's 4,080 seconds per video. Let's say that you want to change images every 10 seconds. That means that you're going to need 408 images for a video. And then let's say that you want to do 100 videos for a YouTube channel. Let's say let's say you're going to do 50. Let's say you're going to do 50 videos for a YouTube channel. I mean, your basic math tells you that therefore you need over 20,000 images in order to make that happen. And so that's probably why you don't see things like that on YouTube, right? Because who is able to create 20,000 images for their YouTube channel? Like we couldn't even create one per video and make that sustainable. So, but once I figured out, now we got this, the stable diffusion kind of image generation, I produced this a few months ago.
Is a fabled Rosetta Stone. The Black Cipher is a fabled Rosetta Stone-like object which allows the translation of indescribably ancient texts written in alien languages, some of which date to before the Younger Dryas catastrophe, which ended the advanced civilizations on Earth and plunged the planet into the last ice age. Over the centuries, the Black Cipher has been rumored to have been in the possession of many infamous sorcerers and occult figures. Recently, the Vatican Astronomical Observatory intercepted a transmission believed to be of extraterrestrial origin. The astronomers who heard it went insane. The sole call for help from the receiving station was filled with horrifying and inhuman sound. When the Vatican gendarmes arrived, they found the astronomers were dead, having been hung with arcane runes carved into their flesh. After Vatican demonologists and exorcists cleansed the observatory, a Jesuit priest and professor of metaphysics applied the Black Cipher in the Vatican archives to the recording of the transmission. It successfully decoded the transmission, unlocking dread secrets of the universe sent to us from other intelligences. It revealed bleak truths of the paranormal and supernatural being. Truly, it seems the nature of humanity is darker and stranger than any have imagined. Though the Vatican tried to suppress the observatory massacre and their contact with extraterrestrial beings, the information has leaked from an unknown source. Now, the revelatory message of the Vatican transmission is being compiled into an encyclopedic text, which is being released here on YouTube.
So there we go. So that's basically, so that was where I was several months ago. James says these images might even be running a bit too fast. But on the whole, if we had been able to make things like that for Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, man, that would have been game changing. So that was, I mean, that was that was really cool. So I was like, that was basically where we are. Now, that was no animation at all on any of the images. Now, there were limitations because I couldn't even do in painting back then. So that was just basic image generation. And then I put them together. And of course, I wrote that text. I mean, I've been writing all of this. So I wrote that and then generated images based on that text and then just put them together basically in basic video editing software and then came up with that. But man, I can't skip the video. It beats my attention span. Well, maybe. But man, that would have been amazing. But I wanted to do more, but it was limited because there was no in painting. Like that was done. I believe that was all Midjourney, I think. But there was no ability to in paint, which there is now in Midjourney. So there's no ability to fix things, and there were still a bunch of limitations. And also, I was trying to make some shorts out of that, and it was James says, right, so that's the light, that light animation is there, and it probably is the case. James, I think you're exactly right, that even the zoom in, zoom out is probably enough for YouTube. You probably don't need genuine animation. You probably don't. I think probably that would work for a lot of YouTube. I mean, when I was thinking about, like, how do I get theophany done? Like, if I want to talk about a particular object that's got lore in the world, what am I going to have to do? Am I going to have to illustrate it? If I want there to be video of it, does that mean I'm going to have to build a prop in the workshop? That would be a lot of fun, but that's also too much work. So we need some type of process and workflow here that, once you write out your script, or if once you write out your script and have it narrated, whether that's done by a person or with an AI, I guess, once you have it narrated, how long does it take you to get something that is up on the screen that's acceptable to you as the creator and then also acceptable to the audience? So that's what I've been trying to get to. So that's where I got to before. But what I wanted to do since then, but even light animation or parallax effects. I mean, you're right that this is probably enough for YouTube. Probably is. But I want to know if I could push it. And I've got a project right now that I was wondering, can I push it? Let me try to look for some other things. And that is the Kickstarter video for the Trial of St. Gabriel, the Christmas story. So I was like, no, that's only going to be like, it's only like a minute and 14 seconds. What is it that I can do? Can I use tools that have come out now for additional animation to try to make something that looks even better and just figure out what the workflow would be? Dungeon Master says, Crooked Moon's animation is simple and evocative, very mood enhancing. Is that a YouTube channel? Crooked Moon animation. Oh, I see a Kickstarter. Oh, I also see a TikTok. So probably so. Okay, I'll check that out. I left that up in a browser window so I can get to that. Okay, so I started trying to come up with some type of. Now, actually, another issue you're talking about, James, the zoom in, zoom out. One of the reasons that I went over here and wrote something up for the Black Cipher is because I was like, here's one that I don't care quite so much about as far as the look goes. Or actually, let me rephrase that. I don't have an existing, extremely specific interpretation of the way that I want all of these to look, everything in that to look, because it's kind of new and fresh and it's just designed here. And so it was easy to get things back. Though that looks pretty cool. That seems like it fits the mood and things like that. But if you have more specific designs, it was much more difficult to do that. And I've got to get into that in the coming future. And this series is probably going to take a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, because I also want to be able to create custom models for the look of things like in Rabavania or certain armor that angels wear or things like that, to be able to produce what it is that I'm actually thinking of and putting it on the screen. So that's actually a huge thing that I think is an important part of this whole AI image generation and AI filmmaking part of this is that the more specific an idea you already have, the more difficult it's going to be. Now, I think in the future, we're only going to get better at having it come, having you be able to more clearly specify what it is that you want through training custom models, through better character design, all of that. But for now, if you're wondering where is there with AI filmmaking, well, like I said, some of it's already in use. And if you don't already have a pre-existing, like, well, it has to be this way. It has to look like gladiator cinema. It can look like something much earlier from the days of film, and I can still make something cool with that. If you instead, which is the way that you really should do this, is if you take the existing tools and go, this is the state of the tools right now. What can I create from that? That is easier than trying to say, this is exactly what I want to create. Now I'm waiting for the tools or the tools just aren't working. If you go the other way, that would totally be easier. Here's what the existing tool set can do. I'm going to make something based on that. That's much easier and much better. It's a Kickstarter, and the animated thing is awesome. Okay, I'll check the Kickstarter here after the stream. James says, Candace just mentioned there's psychology at play here too. If you animate too much while reading a story out loud, it can distract or overload an audience. That's a great point too, because I do have an advantage in this that I'm not trying to do an entire basic movie, because the story, the purpose is to augment the narration of my writing. So that's a good point. That's a good point. PH says, Tale Foundry is a channel that uses very simple images and little effects and movement. When the content is good, like if it's a video book, the more immersive this way with less animation. Let me go take a look at that. I want to look at Tale Foundry. That might be a good one to look at as an example. Oh, I bet I'm going to like this. Okay, I'll check that out in more detail after this. Thank you for that link. Lucas did that with Star Wars. The tools couldn't catch up, so he did what he could. Okay, so I think Lucas's restraint and need for innovation, because he did innovate. When he was doing that, I remember talking about some of the very first computer systems that were computer controlling things like the way the Millennium Falcon came into the docking bay. But I think Lucas's restraint and need for innovation is what made the original trilogy so good. It was probably a constant fight between both of those things. What can actually be done now, and or what can't be done, what can be done, and what is on the cutting edge of what can be done. Okay, so has anyone been using this Pika Labs? So it seems like right now there are probably others, but the two main video generators I've been looking at are Pika Labs and Runway, right? Is that the ones that everybody seems to be looking at? Pika Labs, let me see if I can bring this up in Discord. Okay, looks like I can. Pika Labs is Discord based. So let's see what kind of stuff we get. Let me take that down. It's telling me I can message the bot. So let's just see. The commands here, this is Pika Labs, Pika, and it actually has, and one of the reasons this is actually goes exactly to what James was saying here. One of the things that it has is animate. It has create and it has animate. And so I've got a couple of pictures here that I was working on for potential inclusion in a Kickstarter video. And I want to know what they can do in, of course, my computer just jammed up. Okay. Okay, got it back. Kickstarter video assets. Okay. Does if we just use animate, does it provide the light kind of animation that might be perfect for something like this? I got some raw video exports. Okay, I'll show the. Let's take a look. I'll show these. Let me. This is a runway one. I found this to be a picture of or I didn't find it. This is a picture of Sataniel that I think would be awesome to have. And then I put this into runway and it came up with that. I wanted just a basic zoom out. And so this starting frame, that's the picture that I gave it. And I told it that I wanted a zoom out on it. And I was able to get that, which I think is pretty reasonable at the moment. I think when you're talking about these light kind of animations, that's clearly more sophisticated than has ever been able to do before. And particularly with the amount of time spent. And it does go to what James is saying. It may not be overwhelming as far as its animation goes if it's included in something that is a story. PH Arbest says, I haven't tried Pico Labs. I tend to run away from Discord, so I use Runway. Yeah, it seems like Discord is using, or a lot of people are using Discord as an interface. But this is PIKA. Pico Labs. So if you're looking for it, I just put that in the channel. But basically, you just go to their homepage, and then you can join the beta by coming into Pico Labs. So, but that one was a runway. That was a runway animation. Runway, I really like a lot of what it seems to be able to do. See, okay, this one is a zoom in. The best way to get this kind of thing going on. I was trying to understand how it works. This one, his face changes a little bit as you zoom in, but here's going the other way. If you want to zoom in on him, his face changes, I think, a little bit. But if you didn't use the last half a second there, I think it would work. Sataniel says, James says, Sataniel should be a picture of shirtless Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park, but with wings. PH says, now it makes sense. Pico Labs is responsible for Picos, an actor-based programming system that supports people-centric reactive programming on the Internet of Things. Oh, I didn't know anything about that. I still don't know exactly what all that means. Did I actually put this on stage when I played this? This is the zoom in, which I think we're getting, but I think we're getting to something pretty incredible. I mean, this seems like stuff that you could actually use. So I got zoom in and zoom out on him, and I bet you could put that together for even greater motion to put that frame, that central frame. Because once again, I've noticed that it generates, this being runway, generates with the frame you give it as the first frame, and then you go for there. Well, okay, so oh, me neither. I just got the wrong site. Okay. Yeah, because this is PIKA Labs. PIKA Labs. Tomocrat says, if you can adjust the speed of the zoom, I think it'll work well. I prefer a slower zoom with my works. Okay, you can adjust the speed of the zoom in Runway. In fact, should we pull that up since we're sitting here talking about this one right now instead of Pico? We ended up with Runway first. So let me just see if I can go over to my Runway. And see what type of options we have there. But that's why I was trying to establish my workflow, because let's see. So here I am inside. If you haven't seen Runway, let me put the link here as well. Now, Runway was one of the first ones that I was really interested in as far as video goes, but it had its Gen 1 creator, and I was like, oh my God, that's going to be really cool. But now it's on its Gen 2 creator, and that's the first one that I've basically just been experimenting with using. So if you haven't seen Runway, here it is. Oh, here it is. Advancing creativity with artificial intelligence. Runway is an applied AI research company shaping the next era of art, entertainment, and human creativity. So inside here, see, this one I don't have. I'm paying for credits here, but let's see. Where are my projects? No, not a whole project. Generate images. You can do text to video, or you can do image to video. But I was trying to get my process down to where I was, I thought if I can generate the right image and get the consistent characters, I can move on from there. Maybe under assets. Okay, this might be where my files are coming up here. Oh, the camera just took a hit. Audio was artifacting too. Is it coming back? To make sure I'm not syncing the Death Star plans. Let me see if I can drop it. I got a bunch of stuff going on over here. Let me see if I can drop a couple of things. See if that helps any. But anyway, okay. I wonder if it's doing any better now. It says that I did see the stream signal dropped a little bit, but it's back to full strength. It says now, so we will see. Okay, so yeah, this looks like it. So I was trying to see. Can I go back and modify these? Like this one right here was the first time you can control speed, and you can also control. Just show it to me. Control speed and also control camera angle. This one was kind of weird. I was trying to, I said zoom in. So this was like the first experiment I did. Zoom in here and then zoom to the left. And this was just one generation. But it's kind of weird that it took him and it transformed him into this woman. Nonetheless, pretty cool. And I think this is one of those things that if you were, I mean, who knows what it gives you with multiple generations, but this could be one of those things that if you're using the assets that are available to you, well, this is pretty cool. How could you use that in a film, or how could you use this as part of storytelling or something like that? But I think that was my first thing, that it actually morphed the character. So this one's, and it tells you what you did here. So this is not upscaled. There's no, it has been interpolated. It's watermarked. And then we've got we got a horizontal motion with your camera controls. We were supposed to do a horizontal motion with a zoom in, and this was at a speed of 5. And you can reduce that speed, but I was talking about the workflow here. There are other tools I was learning about, such as that I've downloaded the trial for, the Topaz Video AI, that allows you, that a lot of people are using as a post-processing step of the generation. So you generate it, you download it, you put it into Topaz Video AI, which is going to give you even more control over your upscaling. Because I've noticed that several of these video sites like Pika and this, they're not coming out as like HD. And that can be a problem if you're trying to manipulate, if you're trying to put together like an HD frames, HD video, you need to have HD assets, which you may not always have. But there are other AI systems that will allow you to upscale it. So this one is also a speed of 5. I might have ended up slowing things down later. Let's see. This is a speed of 3. So this is a zoom in. So this is a zoom in at speed of 3. But I think you can do even further work with that because like Topaz I was looking at, and it was allowing you to put things into slow motion that were not originally shot in slow motion by adding in frames and then interpolating all of the frames that would be needed in order to put it into slow motion. So if you wanted a much slower push, I think you could get it. And you also, in this case, might not have the, I think, slight face warp that's going on. Like, it's not that bad, but, you know. That's the zoom out. Let's see. The angels, yeah, this is sick morph. Angels are non-binary. This code assist thinks all long hair faces are girls. Code assist, yeah. Well, I thought about that. I try to say large language model. I don't know what to really call these. Code assist, I mean, could be it, I suppose. But when we're talking about something like Chat GPT, I try to now say something like a large language model because that's what it is. A lot of people are using, you know, the AI is this term that's applied to both. But I try to talk about diffusion models when we're talking about image generation. And I guess text to video is stable diffusion as well, or just a diffusion model in general. I'm not exactly sure what types of modeling do things like this. What was I trying to? I was trying to get. What did this give me? This is zooming out very slowly. This one didn't give a whole lot of animation, but I think I also need to associate. I think I can associate prompts with these that I should be doing better. I think I tried that here when, like, okay, they're going to be marveling over the child. So in one of these, there is like a hand movement that goes on. Maybe that was from Pika. I was also trying to compare what Runway was doing with what Pika could do. But something like that provides the movement that doesn't. It's not overwhelming. That's like what James was talking about. Let me come over here. I wanted to compare. Okay. So this one was generated. This one is the same scene based on this, or same image, same scene, but same image. That that one was done in Pika and Runway, and this is Pika Labs. You do have the watermark on Pika Labs. So yeah, this one actually got more hand motion. I was talking about like marveling over the child. And I think I said zoom. Did I say? No, I don't think it. So there's no zoom here. This is just the hand motion of marveling over the child. Not a whole lot of animation with Mary and child there. And I'm also not real happy with this particular image. There's some weirdness in the faces and things like that that you need to do some in painting on. But I was trying to do some comparison. But again, I think that's interesting. I don't know exactly what type of hand motion that is, but it got animating a hand, and that was Pika. This one is also interesting. This is Pika right here as well. Like, I wanted a scene of a battle in heaven. And again, I'm also not totally happy with this particular starting image, but I was trying to get some to play with Pika in. But this is, I think, generally a reasonable type of animation for what we're talking about. Now, Pika Labs, this is a 3-second animation. I think Pika Labs generally uses 3 or maybe 4-second animations. But if we're talking about what we're doing, or what I'm trying to do, which is the animation for some type of animated audiobook, the kind of light animation there, I think that's going in the right direction. James says that's not a human baby. Yeah, that image needed help. It's only as good as it goes in, right? PH says persistent compute objects, or PICOs, are powerful general purpose online computers that can be used to model people, places, organizations, and concepts. Picos or Pico, is that Picos? Is that people talk about Pika, that being Pika Labs. This is Picos, or maybe, I don't know, are used as a method for doing reactive programming. Different Picos interact with each other as independent agents. Hello, Lord Kingpin, coming in from Twitch. It's always good to see somebody on Twitch coming in and watching too. Multiverse DM says, coders need job security. Thus, intentionally, they write bad code to keep from having to fix it. So doing so sets humanity back by hundreds of years. But anyway, that to me is going in the right direction. Oh, right. Yeah. So this is so then you got to do all that too, right? So this is, there's no audio that comes out of this. So I suppose that will eventually be a next step when, like, oh, a battle scene with the angels here, and then, well, it will need like sound effects of clashing swords and whatever else. It's got to have that. So that's another reason why this isn't push button generation as far as a film or video goes, because first of all, you've got to assemble all the assets. So it looks like then you got to assemble all the assets. You've got to get your whatever types of animated frames you're going on. But then your sound design becomes a big part of this. And so I have not even gotten into the sound design yet. But that is a good point. I have not even looked at something like there's AI sound effects. But of course, there are a lot of other sound effects out there. And so AI can't reproduce the audio mastering of a pro producer. I would imagine the mix on the sound design could be tricky. Yeah, right now I'm guessing that part has to be, I'm thinking that part would still be me, because I was looking at, even if, like, what is it people always want to talk about, like copyright or something. So even if, okay, that image is not, I think you are seeing my creativity, because I am doing the prompting. You're not seeing my art. I don't consider myself an artist, but I do consider myself, I'm directing this. I'm doing the art direction for this, getting what type of style, what type of pieces you want, assembling them, animating them, but then editing them all together, doing whatever sound design, putting them all together. I mean, at the end, by the time all that comes out, I think you are seeing something that is part of the person's creativity who is putting all this together. I would imagine the mix on sound design could be tricky. AI would have to learn the biofrequency in each trigger location in the brain. So yeah, so sound design is the next part of this. Well, or the last part of this. So it seems like, in fact, we were going to do a couple of experiments in Pico. Let's just see what Pico gives us to take this down using animate and using create. Let's see. Okay, so here we are. So I should be able to say, let's do it. Let's do a test. Animate. What happens if I just say animate? I'm supposed to put in an image. Let's do one that we already saw. Okay, let's just do that battle scene. Let's just see what happens, because instead, I'm sure that I was using the create. Let's just see what happens if I give it this battle scene, which I believe, so there's no prompt. It's just animate image. Enter. There we go. Let's see what that comes up with. And then let's also do Sataniel sitting there. Okay, we've seen him before. Animate this guy. As compared to, let's try to say create. Okay, a slow zoom in to the man's face while his hair and robes gently blow in the breeze. Can we get him to smile? Let's see, man's face as he smiles sinisterly. This may be too complex. Smiles a sinister, or just smiles sinisterly while his hair and robes gently blow in the breeze. Uh-oh. Oh, options, image prompt. So now let's see what it does. If it allows me to send them, we will see. Tom McCrent says, yeah, I can see the idea of directing the way the idea builds as your own unique work. And it depends on what your goal is. I was thinking about this yesterday in terms also of what we were looking at with the script writing stuff. Because you would come at this either way. I mean, I want to do the writing. So I was doing the writing, and then my problem, like the problem that I've been trying to solve for myself, is that I can do the writing, and then I could also even get them audio narrated. I mean, there's stuff that's been sitting over there that's was done for Journey to the Tree of Sorrows, which I would love to be able to get out, but I just was never able to because the art could never get done. Okay, well, we are still having some time. Let's try. I wonder if it's a problem here. Let's try to go down to Pika Labs and go down to one of the. Oh, whoa! This is apparently not me, because now I go down to generate and I'm seeing that there must be an error on them because in one of the main generation rooms, I'm seeing the same error. Sorry, lost error. Error occurred. Lost connection. So I bet that we are. I bet that we actually have an error. The devs have been notified. They'll get the bot back online as soon as possible. Oh, so I'm trying to do this, and the Pika bot is down. Oops. Oh well. Pika here. All right. Well, oops. I guess we're not going to try that. But yeah, the directing of it. What are you trying to create here? You like, for instance, for me, there is the writing. So I had all the writing. That's what I was saying. I was saying that we got the writing situation, and I could write stuff, and we could also have it narrated. But then it just sat on hard drives and never got out to the world because the art was taking too long to produce. So, all right. So what do you do in that situation? Do you want what do you do if you can't, if the generation of the artistic images is something that is just absolutely too difficult and it's too time consuming? Does it not get put out to the world, or does it get put out in the world in a different format? But also you could do the reverse, because I could certainly see situations where somebody is doing art and they want to have like some type of artistic animation, but they don't want to do the writing. Maybe for them, the writing is the hang up. And I did think that just the Chat GPT, the large language model version 3.5, and probably even into 4. It's been a while since I've used 4, but that's a bit behind what people have been able to do with the image generation, the diffusion models, and also the animation. That seems to be coming up faster, but maybe what Gemini is coming out, maybe in another iteration or two, the writing side of things will be catching up. So, I mean, who knows? And I did think that the script writing software did a reasonable job on like that action scene. It took way too long to get there. Now, I don't think it was for any of us who are writers here would have really accepted that. But by the time we went through all that generation, we had something that I could see if somebody needed a script. And they're like, hey, I just want to do animation. I just want to do this cool animation of, for instance, this rabbit fighting this evil sorcerer. which is what we went through yesterday. But I need some kind of script to do. Well, but they don't want to write it. Maybe they don't have any interest in that. And it's like, hey, I could sit here and animate all these things, but I don't have scripts. If you're trying to show off your cool animation and all of your graphic design and graphical abilities, then why not marry it with something like the battle scene that we were able to generate with the plot.ai. Plot.ai had the problem that it seems like it was trying to be geared for people who are actually screenwriters. And so want all the story structure and all of that, but it seemed too cumbersome, and then you didn't really get a quality output anyway. If you could get the quality output of some of that much faster, I think its target audience might be people who are not writers, who are looking for some type of script to show off their animation ability or their artistic ability or something like that. I think that's a better way to go. PH says, I got the wrong site, and now I'm wondering if it can be used for world building, creating complex systems using different Picos as agents like people, organizing or nature aspects. That's a great question. I would like to know. The worst timing, yeah, I know. So that's fine. It's easier to fool the eye than the ear. Even adjective order can sound weird. The big red clock sounds way more natural than the red big clock. Right? Yeah. That's true. And, also in some of these things with the diffusion models, you also have to look at its purpose. You're talking about fooling the eye. Yes. Now, like we did have the situation with that image where that was clearly not a human baby that had been born there. So there's something up with that. But yes. Okay. So other people say, oh, we'll look at this problem right here. Yeah. If you look at the image for 10 minutes, or, if you take a deep study at the image, but if the image is intended to be something that's passed by quickly on Instagram, or if it's something that is part of motion, that's part of the experience of also listening to something, I think you can get away with a lot more. BGD says, I'm facing this exact problem in publishing my first ICRPG supplement. Well, congratulations on getting this going on. Omnisumbra. I hope I'm saying that right. The 80-page draft text was completed in July, but I've been working on illustrations ever since. AI is not an option. Yeah, I hear you. That was also the part of, I completely understand that from the perspective of the RPGs as well, because the purpose was to do an RPG for the Journey to the Tree of Sorrows. I mean, David and I planned that a lot. That was supposed to be a major part of what we were doing in Infinite Black, was to create an RPG with out of Journey to the Tree of Sorrows for all of the worlds, right? And we created, of course, and David's the artist and I'm the writer. So I wrote 2 books for Journey to the Tree of Sorrows. I wrote the main Journey to the Tree of Sorrows core book, and then I wrote a supplement on one particular location, one particular island location, and then I did a deep edit on a third book that was was it a whole campaign? I guess it was a series of adventures, an adventure to take you from level 1 to 5. I did a deep edit on that. So we had those 3 books that were sitting there that were basically ready. All of that's written, but then the illustration was impossible. Even with David as an illustrator, he had because it's his world, he has a very specific way that he wants that world to look and those books to look. And illustrating them has never happened. So my guess is those books will never come out. And that's sad. But that the writing was done. They're sitting there. All right, now it's time to. They would look amazing if they ever got published. They would look amazing because David, his art is fantastic, and I know he would do such a great job with the art. But on the other hand, it's such a big project that it can't ever get done. So you've got to be able to do these projects in some way they're going to get done. I want to look more at training models because it seems like in that situation, the artist should be using the AI to make themselves much more efficient. Do you want a book like Journey to the Tree of Sorrows RPG to never come out? Like I can't illustrate, ideally, okay, I will draw all of these hand-drawn charcoal drawings, which would be fantastic for this book. But on the other hand, I can't do it because it'll take 100 years. It's just not possible to do it. Some people will go, okay, well then fine. It'll just never exist. I think other artists are realizing in that situation that like, wait a minute, if I've got this particular style for this particular book that I'm trying to do I need to train a model on this particular style? Because if I need 50 illustrations or 80 illustrations for a YouTube video like we're talking here, I can't possibly do all those. But I could do 5 and set the style and then train it on this particular style for this particular project and the way that I want it to look, and then use the AI to expand from there. I think that could be potentially a fantastic way to go with AI, because it's probably going to let us do the kinds of things like the exact problems that you and I are having, BGD. Other people will have other opinions on that. I know that other people will go, well, listen, just it shouldn't ever be done. But on the other hand, I'm for people getting out their part of their creativity and using these tools on both the writing side and the image side to get projects out. I think AI sound is way off, is a ways off. Oh, I think AI sound is a ways off. AI sound, I mean, I don't know. I wonder. It actually surprises me that AI music we don't see more of. Now, it's out there. It's out. I've generated some and tested it. It's out there, but I was kind of surprised that that seems to me, as someone who's completely non-technical on the AI side of things, it seems like audio generation would be something that could be done. And it is, but it's not nearly as far along, I don't think, as it is. But AI sound design, that one's going to be interesting. Like if you fed it that image of that battle, could it interpret that and then also give you not only the animation, but the battle sounds for the sound design? That would be interesting. That was a point that Candace made, not me. Yeah, the audio is okay, but the enunciation of some words are still off. Yeah, you need 11 Labs, Innerlight. Welcome, Innerlight. 11 Labs sounds pretty good to me, and I want to play with that more, because I think 11 Labs is one where you can go in and alter the pronunciation. Excuse me, alter pronunciation and tonal inflections, which is important. In order to actually make that work, you have to be able to do that. You have to give it you have to be able to give it a phonetic pronunciation of something that it's doing wrong. And then also be able to, if you want certain words punched or something, you have to be able to do that. I've just done some quick research on this. What kinds of interesting things we accidentally run across. The PICOs are great for simulating ecosystems, societies, economics, and politics and world building, enabling the creation of complex and realistic fictional worlds. Well, you hit right on it. So there we go. Okay, so I think we're going to talk about this tomorrow too, because I'm going to be working on this video. So I'm going to report back again tomorrow, because right now, but where I got to, I want to compare more what's going on with Pika and with Runway. But it seems like the workflow is going to be taking image to either Runway or Pika, then taking what's produced by Runway or Pika, and it's got to be upscaled. And so it looks like Topaz is going to have to do that. So I've just downloaded the trial of Topaz. Let me, I'll come over here. Topaz. So I'm excited about this because it may allow me to finally bring a lot of the things out that I have never been able to bring out before and have wanted to bring out for years. It's kind of weird that you wait, months to a year, and then you may end up with the tools that all of a sudden you can do everything you've been trying to do your entire life. So I'll have to figure out how to operate, to integrate all of that. But I'm excited because it seems like it might be here. But this Topaz Labs, everything is a lab. Topaz, maximize visual quality with AI, the gold standard in photo and video enhancement software designed for professionals and optimized for your local workstation. So there's a photo version and a video version. And so this uses the AI or code assist enhancements. So to upscale video, it's kind of crazy that upscale video happens. When I was working with vectors, of course, in a scientific stance, but you can't really, you could increase the number of excuse me, did I say vectors? I meant rasters. When you can upscale the number of pixels in your raster, but you can't actually create data. But crazily now, the AI or the code assist or whatever we want to call it here is able to come through here and actually enhance your photos and videos. So like what you get from Pika and what you get from one runway are not high enough resolution if you want to make HD stuff. So you have to go through another pass to increase the scale, to increase it, have AI take care of the upscaling, change the interpolation on the videos, change the frame rate of the videos, which I believe someone was talking about with regard to the, like, if you want slower motion or faster motion, I guess, but if you want slower motion, do all of that. That should give you the video assets, the main video assets, at least I'm thinking, to put into your audio, to your nonlinear editing software, which we used DaVinci Resolve for the cultists, and DaVinci Resolve is free. But on the other hand, I'm interested in going back and working a little bit more with Premiere as well. If you're not, because I want to know how Adobe, we haven't really talked about that, how Adobe is integrating these tools into Photoshop, into Illustrator, into After Effects, and then into Premiere. And a lot of their software, integrates with one another anyway. And so if there's some kind of adjustments that you're doing in Photoshop, such as its context, it's generative fill. It's generative fill. We didn't even look at that, but I was playing around with this generative fill to be able to create parallax motions. If you're using the other Adobe suite or Adobe programs, I kind of want to look at editing in Premiere again. I think all of those Journey to the Tree of Sorrows videos, as simple as they are, were in Premiere, but it's been a while since I've used Premiere. And then you overlay the sound design on top of that. I think that is the workflow here. I suppose eventually you probably won't have to use Topaz to get to sharpen, see extreme motion blur fixed in Topaz AI, enlargement, see an upscaled image in Topaz Photo AI. This is video enhancement right here. Remarkable video upscaling, de-interlacing, and frame interpolation optimized for local production workflows. Upscale and enhance your videos. Motion interpolation over here. Image stabilization, de-interlacing. That's what this does. But right now, it seems like what's coming out of Pika and Runway isn't immediately usable on the HD side of things. I did post about the Augur VTT and the AI for gaming. It's a VTT for solo play with procedural generation and AI compatible for NPC conversations. I gotta look at that one. Augur, yeah, okay. Because we were looking at that a bit. You know, the VTTs a bit. That'd be something we need to play. PH says, Heath, if you have time, you have to check out this video. OpenAI ChatGPT makes a game for $1. Is it it's from 2 Minute Papers? AI Workforce creates a game by itself. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, we need to look at that. A game, ChatGPT makes a game. Makes a game for, okay, I got it. We'll check it out. All right. Well, okay. So we'll continue with this discussion tomorrow. I'll generate, maybe Pika Labs will be back up online. We can take a look at that tomorrow. But I'm thinking that's the workflow. So I'll let you know what I find out and if what I'm able to create, and if it works and we think it's any good or where we are. So I think this is just a 1 minute project, like 1 minute and 14-second project to create a video for Kickstarter. I think it's an interesting reason for me to dive into it. I've been diving into this over the past about 48 hours. I've been kind of casually following it, but then like, okay, can I actually use this then? What do I need to get together as far as a workflow in order to see if I can possibly use it? So that's where I am. So we should check back tomorrow and see, because I really need to get this video done because I need it. But I do have a meeting at 1 o'clock. So I got things to do before that meeting. So I hope you enjoyed it. Yep, everybody go be productive, be creative, be productive. and grind on. I will see everybody later, and I got to dig into Discord as well, so I'll be there. But I'll see you in the morning. Later, everybody.